Hello friends! Back in 1993, the house in which Joe lived was destroyed to the ground during a hurricane. Hundreds of families, including Joe and her neighbors, were left without a roof over their heads, having lost literally everything they owned that day. At the same time, she had no idea how to survive what happened and restore her life. Just a few months earlier, Joe had lost her beloved husband, who was her rock and whose hands had built their home. I stood on the spot where our kitchen used to be, looking at all those ruins and thought that it was the end, Joe recalls. The situation was further complicated by the fact that the woman worked as a cosmetologist, so as you understand, she didn't have money for the construction of a new house. It was a very difficult time, but sometimes there's a way out, even for a seemingly hopeless situation, which is what happened in our story. Having only a small amount of cash, Joe decided to search for cheap options and began to consider the home on wheels option. She checked out several places but couldn't find anything worthy. For a budget of under $5,000, she was getting offers for small trailers only, which obviously didn't have enough space for a mother with a son and a daughter. All this time, Joe and her children had to live with their friends. In 1994, her late husband's brother, who worked as an air traffic controller at Greenwood Airport at the time, suggested an unusual option for Joe to consider: an old plane. He simply said to Joe, "What if you were to make your home out of a plane? There would be enough space." After all, she lived not far from the airport, where one of the leading aircraft restoration companies regularly made planes for the Memphis Group. Richard Cordu, the company manager, took her on a little tour, but as soon as she saw the decommissioned Continental Airlines plane, she yelled, "I want this one. How much is it?" She fell in love with it at first sight. The old guy was gathering dust in a parking lot for several months and didn't even hope to find a new loving owner. It was getting ready to go down in history disassembled for metal. The Boeing 727 with the registration number 88701 made its first flight on May 11, 1968, and worked till September 20th, 1993, and was parked at the Greenwood Airport since then. It took several months to empty the plane, but when it was done, the woman bought it for just $2,000, which was almost for free. She only paid for the cost of the metal. Transportation cost Joe another $4,000. The plane looked very unappealing at the time and even got dropped during transportation. When the plane was put in place, its tail was fixed on a concrete support while its front was positioned over a lake to give the Boeing 727 a more dynamic look, as if it was flying through the air. The interior, with a width of almost 4 meters, looked very spacious, and 76 side windows and 10 cockpit windows provided sufficient light. The floor plan was prepared by Joe personally. It consisted of 3 bedrooms, a living room, a dining room, a fully equipped kitchen, laundry room, and her favorite room, bathroom with a hot tub in the place where the cockpit had once been. The cockpit control wheels were retained to add the airplane look. To fully equip the house of her dreams, $24,000 was later spent. Armed with 9 and 16-inch wrenches and a screwdriver, borrowed from the airport manager's Carl's toolkit, the woman kept going back to various missing details. Carl later called her the most daring grandmother because she did a lot of it herself with her own hands. All floors were brought to the same level, after which they were insulated and carpeted, and linoleum was laid in the kitchen. One original airplane toilet was kept and hasn't been removed. To open and close the rear air staircase, a garage door opener was used. The upper luggage compartments were kept to provide storage space. As for the utilities, electricity, water supply, and plumbing were installed like a regular home. The house has absolutely everything that a regular house has: air conditioner, oven, washing machine, and dishwasher. Joe has also installed a hot tub in the former cockpit area, which is a perfect place to relax on a cold winter day. The main tub is also located there, directly above the lake, making for an unforgettable view with the impression of flying. The house has 3 bedrooms with large beds, which can comfortably accommodate up to 10 people. Joe's Boeing 727 kitchen is fully equipped with all the necessities, and this is how the dining and living rooms look, where the whole family often gathers. It's also worth noting that according to the owner, the house is always warm, even in the winter. The Boeing 727 was turned into an economical and energy-efficient home. The total usable area equals an unbelievable 147 square meters. Joe's grandchildren, Stephen, Caitlin, and Morgan, love coming for a visit. There is a large courtyard outside where the woman plans on planting flowers in the future, and also the lake right under her nose where the family loves to fish and rest. Joe named her home Little Trump, after Donald Trump's $16 million corporate jet, which is also a Boeing 727. My grandkids love running back and forth. There's enough space for all of them here. Our guests and friends love throwing parties here. Indeed, even after many years of living here, I can't shake off the feeling that I've been flying all this time. If I ever get asked whether I'd want to move to a regular home, I would say, no, I'm okay here. The one thing Joe mentioned was that she had a plan to move to a bigger plane, a Boeing 747. I'd really like to sleep on the top floor, smiles Joe. So guys, how do you like this transformation of an old plane? Did you like Joe's idea? Be sure to comment. But for today, that's it. Like our video, subscribe to our channel, and we'll see you next time.